Greetings, fellow humans, and welcome to Sam and Max Hit the Books. I'm Max.
I'm Sam.
And we are here with the comics that came out on the 26th of June in 2018.
2019.
2019, what do you know? And so
Happy New Year.
Thank you. I'm happy to be here. We're going to start off with the 1006th issue of Detective Comics, written by Peter Tomasi and drawn by Kyle Hotz. And I know we've been really raving about how good Brad Walker's art was on the last arc of Detective Comics.
Well, especially the way he draws Batman.
Yeah, some Dreadface. But I gotta say, Kyle Hotz coming on is no slouch. And not only was the art good, but it was perfect for this story.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's true.
Like, on just the first two pages, I was like, oh, man, like, last arc was superhero stuff, but this arc is, like, Detective Comics. Just kidding, there's the Spectre.
That's true.
But, man, yeah, just the art was... The story was good. The story was good enough. It's going to be some weird Spectre Jim Corrigan thing. Some cultists want to do something with the Spectre, and they know Jim Corrigan is its host on Earth.
Yeah, but the choreography.
Exactly. Like, the action scenes, the way Batman's drawn, the two-page spread with the giant Spectre. I've come for you, Batman.
Oh, that's just funny.
That was fantastic. I love it.
Comedy right there.
What a wonderful two-page spread on the page turn. And yeah, it's funny, the Spectre snatching Batman out of the sky by his cape like a petulant child.
Yeah.
Got surprisingly bloody, but it is a Kyle Hotz comic, so that dude, it's going to be grisly.
Yeah, that's true.
Remember Carnage Mind Bomb.
Right.
And, not that much happened in the issue. It was more just about drawing all these cool hooded and cloaked figures and setting up something of a mystery.
Yeah, and having blood raining down on Commissioner Gordon from the fire escapes.
Because the Spectre, like, blew a guy up.
Yeah.
Like, pretty grisly. Like Dr. Manhattan style, almost.
Right, vaporized him.
So it was a quick read, but I really enjoyed it. I think this is a solid 7 for me.
Yeah, it's a 7 for me as well. It was very good.
And that cover, you failed this. Like, nothing like that happens in the comics, so that's 100% an Arrow reference, right?
I assume so.
It has to be. But pretty good.
Yeah, that's true. Moving on, we got the newest issue of Martian Manhunter. Steve Orlando, Riley Rosmo, and my God, this issue is bonkers.
I still can't believe this isn't a Black Label book, honestly. Like, this book kind of, it needs a little swearing.
That's true.
You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
this, just all the subject matter, the level of, like, violence and, like, horror of it's happening to Martians, but, you know, it's horrifically violent what happens to John's family in this.
It is.
And I'm like, man, this would have been a perfect Black Label book. But, you know, whatever.
Yeah, you know, John, he had like an escape plan, but
pretty selfish one.
Yeah, for just him and his family, and he sold out all his cop buddies to get there, and he gets double crossed because, of course, they would double cross him.
Yeah, man, I don't know what we're supposed to think about John, really, because it seems like he was real corrupt.
That's true. We never did get any of him being, like, the real good cop.
Like, I don't know that they set it up in a way where we could see that he needed to do that. You know, they didn't set up my family is starving. Oh, like this and that. Like, I needed to do this for the money because of this.
No, it's just terrible, terrible plague that's happening to the entire world.
That's true, right, and it's happening to everybody, but like that, it seems like he's been working with these guys for much longer than, they were seeding that John was dirty way back in the first issue, so.
That's true.
I'm surprised that they haven't made him that, relatable in that way. Like, they usually will do that when they have the protagonist of the comic being a dirty cop.
Well, that's true, but it's like terrible past. But, you know, it all blew up in his face being a corrupt cop.
Immediately before coming to Earth.
Right. And yeah, his family, they went into the thought stream and got annihilated by the
thought infection.
Yeah, the infection.
Yeah.
The disease. So terrible, very dark, very sad.
Yeah, they blow up.
Yeah. And that's bad for John.
It's bad for John. I feel bad for him, but in a way...
Right,
like
no,
said,
it's kind of like he got what's
sympathy.
coming to him, and if it's like, now it's his redemption arc after that, well, that could be okay. But the main thing about this issue is that it takes place all on Mars.
And looks wonderful.
It looks so cool.
Yeah, Rossmo,
the whole way through.
When he's drawing people, like humans on Earth, it's like, I can accept this. But when he's drawing all these Martians and the other aliens, that like the guys who come and confront John, all their crazy designs,
right?
It's all very good.
John and his wife making a baby,
yeah,
just right there on in the panels,
right? Yeah,
making a baby.
I'm telling you, this is a Black Label book, and they didn't know it.
Yeah, I enjoyed it pretty well, even if John is like a bad guy. I'd still give it a 7.
Yeah, it's a 6 for me. I really enjoy the art, but the series is starting to be like, man, it's taking a long time to get anywhere.
That's true.
We're on 6 issues of this, and yeah.
So that's like everything you need to know about what happened before it started. It's like, just, at least we're not going to get any more after that.
My classic complaint is that this should have been issue 3. Like, issue 1 should have ended with John facing off with the Red Martian guy the first time, like that reveal. And then issue 2 should have been like the ordeal against him and the escape and like forwarding the side plot a little. And then this should have been,
that makes sense.
It's weird to complain in that way, but whatever. So the first of the 2 anthology titles that I picked up this week, issue 1 of Wolverine Exit Wounds. Brand new tales by legendary creators. Chris Claremont, Salvador LaRocca. I don't know if he's legendary. Scott Eaton. Larry Hama and Sam Keith, though. Because that's the thing. I picked this up in the shop, and I flipped through it, and the first story was like, okay, looks fine, but, I've seen this. Wolverine in the Weapon X program.
Oh, yeah.
Doing Weapon X things fine. And then the second one is the LaRocca illustrated one, so it's like, and then it's all about Logan making soup. And how good his soup is, even though he's a gaijin.
Right, but I mean, his soup's still not as good as his family out there.
Right, yeah, but it's still damn good soup. They have to mention it over and over again.
Right.
But man, I had to buy this because of the Sam Keith story at the end, because it's just like 6 pages of Sam Keith doing his shit. Yeah. With Venom and Wolverine.
Yeah, it's also pretty bonkers.
Like, it's weird. Like, I don't know what's up with Eddie. Like, it's doing a weird, like, the symbiote is making Eddie a monster thing. Like,
oh, yeah.
That doesn't seem like any version of Venom we've ever seen.
Hungry or something.
But damn, look at that.
Right. It looks like two monsters fighting. Two terrible beasts.
Did you want to say anything about any of these?
No, you covered it.
Yeah, I think that this is exactly a 5. Because it's got 2 whatevers, and damn, that Sam Keith ending, man. It's so crazy. Like,
yeah, especially Wolverine's face at the end there. It's like totally caveman.
Right? Like, oh man, the giant arms, the huge back, Venom's enormous jaws.
Yeah.
It's just...
Yeah, I'd give it a 5. It was alright.
No, it was a lot of fun to pick up. Take real quick read. Except for the soup one. But,
yeah. Well, he beat up some mob guys.
I mean, it's
and
fine.
made them change their ways.
Claremont does know how to write Wolverine, so he's very in character. Like, those are the characters as we know them.
Oh, yeah, that's true. That's true. Moving on, we've got the newest War of the Realms.
The last.
The War of the Realms. Jason Aaron, Russell Duderman, Matthew Wilson. And, yeah, I actually enjoyed this a fair amount more than any of the other War of the Realms issues.
Yeah.
It really focused this one, and that's what really helped it out.
On Thor.
Got some very fun things happening. 4 Thors coming together, Jane Foster being one of them, but also getting Viking-era Thor, who's this a huge arrogant dick.
Yeah.
And Thor, older man Thor. It's like old man Thor and older man Thor.
Yeah, this is
from the future.
This is a callback to the very beginning of Jason Aaron's Thor run many years ago, when the first arc was like this time jumping thing where we had all 3 Thors as main characters on separate timelines until at the end they met. And And interestingly, they were fighting the God Butcher in that arc, who is wielding the Necro Sword, which is, of course, the symbiote of Null.
Yeah. Good stuff.
Yeah. I like that the young Thor has to ride a goat because he doesn't have a hammer that lets him fly.
Yeah. And while he's riding that goat, he's drinking from his horn.
Yeah.
And hell yeah.
He's the Thor. Yeah, he's the good one.
Yeah. Like rock god. And that's a lot of fun. And we get the Daredevil doing his big thing, where after the Frost King swallows the Tempest coffin of cold or something.
Right, that gives him godly ice breath.
Yeah, it gives him godly ice breath. Daredevil throws his sword right into that giant's mouth. Pretty funny. It pays off later when Loki tears out of the guy's stomach with the sword. Good for him.
As soon as that sword was swallowed, he's like, I ate your sword or whatever. I was like, oh, come on.
Yeah, I mean, you also ate a god.
I do like that Loki is partially digested.
Well, yeah. Of course he would be. Yeah, and I mean, Thor's win pretty handily in this one.
Yeah, Malekith, man.
You know,
what's your catchphrase? No problems there.
No problems there.
Yeah,
right. Because his big play was, of course, Necro Sword, symbiote, using all that, and it's like, haha, I'm gonna beat you with that. But then Thor's just like, nah, I'm gonna summon a firestorm. And now your symbiote is useless. Oh, and also he reforges Mjolnir in this issue, which is just awesome because Thor is always best when he has Mjolnir. Yeah,
it's an interesting Mjolnir that now has like a grown from the tree handle instead of a solid, straight carved wood handle.
Right.
It's like it's halfway to being Stormbreaker from Infinity War. Yeah,
right. It's got a little bit of grit.
Right.
But it's World Tree, so that's even better.
Yeah. Yeah, it's interesting the ways they choose to parallel the movies or not.
Yeah. That made it a pretty fun issue.
Hey, how about how one panel is extremely important to the Venom series because they have the narration box just be like, and being part of Malekith or whatever, cured the brain damage.
The dark it's not even a panel. Venom is saying,
"Oh yeah,
the dark magic cured my mind.
Dark magic healed broken minds. Now must be ready for the coming carnage."
Yeah, I thought that's hilarious.
Because pretty soon we're having this event in Marvel Comics, and brother, let me tell you, it's going to be carnage.
Well, I assume so. But it's funny because I thought his broken mind was basically fixed at this point because he's walking around and talking as pretending to be a human.
Everyone was just like, Venom's an idiot anyway. So the lobotomized symbiote is just as good. We can't tell the difference.
Yeah, nah. Anyways, I give it an 8.
Wow, an 8.
Yeah, I know.
I gotta give it a 6. Looked alright. I'm with you that the Thor stuff is awesome.
Thor stuff is awesome.
So much of the plot of the overall event was resolved in alright, they took care of that back there.
Right. Well, I mean, Spider-Man shows up for a panel. He doesn't say anything. He's just in the panel.
Right, exactly. So it's like, if you didn't buy the tie-ins, I hope you weren't interested in any of those plot resolutions.
Right. Well, obviously it didn't matter, and that's why I liked it.
And that's why this issue was the best issue, because none of that other stuff mattered. All that really mattered was the Thor stuff, and this issue was all Thor.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, it's fine. I'm glad it's over.
Well, that's too. If I'm going to be reading an issue that long, it better be the end of something.
Yeah. Alright, so should we pick up the upcoming series that's going to be the finale of Jason Aaron's run, which is the 3 versions of Thor have to fight Loki at the end of time versus, Loki is wielding the all-black the Necro Sword. Maybe it's just Old Man Thor. King Thor Limited Series. If it was Young Thor, maybe, right?
Yeah, if it was Young Thor.
Yeah, I gotta hook you up with that, the first 12 issues of Jason Aaron's Thor, because that is legit some of the best Thor comics ever since, the golden age of Thor, Walter Simonson, and all that. Anywho.
Golden age of Thor was back in the day when the Vikings were writing about him.
Alright, moving on to issue 1012 of Action Comics by Brian Michael Bendis, drawn by somebody Kudransky. Should have gotten the name first. Sismon or Simon Kudransky. Anywho, Superman. So this issue is probably pretty cool if you didn't read the Leviathan special, because that plot is just continuing to crawl forward very slowly. It's just more mobsters saying the same things that we've been getting this whole run about don't say these words because Superman can hear you, and we're watching him all the time.
Yeah. And then Superman's not in this.
And, what?
Except for this.
Yeah, no, that's true.
But after this, he's gone. I do like the way he's drawn, because he just looks like the nicest guy.
He looks super friendly. But yeah, man, it's just...
And he's out.
More slow. I was, like, surprised that this lady didn't turn out to be Poison Ivy.
Right? Those panels did look cool. But the borders, awesome. Great borders.
Yeah, exactly. They're doing some fun things with the art. The art is definitely, once again, the standout. Bendis is always getting good artists. I mean, this character, the Thorn, is kind of interesting. One of those split personality superhero vigilante types.
Right.
But yeah, we get it. Leviathan is grabbing people and saying, how would you like to make a real difference?
Yep.
I'm Leviathan, a.k.a. Darth Revan.
Yeah. Exactly.
It's a 2 for me.
Yeah, 2 sounds right. Barely any Superman.
Being at this point, we should really be dropping the Superman books, right? At least action. I mean, maybe we can keep buying Superman the more superhero we want. And that one tends to have an occasional interesting issue. But have we liked an issue of action?
I don't think so. Not since this whole Leviathan thing is just... Who cares about some underground mafia that Superman can just punch eventually once he finds out who they are? Get Batman to help him. Batman will figure it out. He knows things.
We'll see. We'll see how it goes next time. Next time there's a new issue. But yeah, that we might have to jump off the action train.
I'm down. But let's move on to a better issue of comics. Issue 11 of Dan Slott's Fantastic Four run. Michael Medina.
That cover, though, man, I like Esad Ryback, but I don't know what he's doing with that face. I don't know what's going on here.
I mean, just
both of them, yeah.
Yeah, both of the kids' faces look
terrible.
Right, like their skin is too loose and it's being blasted back. Like they have old people's skin and they're in a convertible.
Yeah, very Crypt Keeper.
Wide eyes and everything, but. Past the cover, it gets pretty interesting. You got some parallel reality stuff going on, making stuff smaller or making things fuse together. You get this bus thing.
Microverse.
Obviously, before they even say it's from another universe, I'm like, it's just like Fringe. It must be another universe.
Right, 2 buses merged together.
Fringe. And it's the microverse, which is explained in a really weird way. It's like a sideways universe.
You shunt into it once you reach a certain size.
Yeah, so that's cool. Why not?
As usual in the Slott run, the Doom stuff is very good.
Well, that's true. He's of course Galactus, being in Mount Doom for a while, has left some residual power cosmic. So we'll see what he does with that in the future.
Yeah. And I did like the bit where the Latvarian citizen came up to him and said, like, he was already taking off his shirt to help them work in the field. Yeah. And they were like, oh, Lord Doom, like, we've seen your face now. It's such a hot day. We should take off the helmet. And of course,
we don't care what you look like.
What you must understand is this is the face I have chosen.
Right. It is my face.
Lord Doom.
Yeah, and then the rest of the issue is the children having to go through a DEMV examination, Department of Extra-Normal Motor Vehicles, so that they can fly their supercars.
Yeah, the Fantastic Car, or what was the new one in this one? The Fantastic 4x4? That's what it was.
Yeah, the Fantastic 4x4.
Which that's a chuckle. That's a pretty good chuckle.
Yeah, but during the driver's test, of course, that's when the microverse stuff starts really happening, and the cars have an autopilot to go to any subspace distortions going on.
Yeah, it seems weird that Reed wouldn't have thought of that.
Yeah, you'd think, but he didn't. So the kids are there during their driving tests, which causes what's her name? The girl, Powerhouse. No, she's not Powerhouse. She's Megamind.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, what is Valeria's damn code name?
Valeria. Yeah, it causes her to fail because she's, doing all the sciencey shit while driving, whereas Powerhouse, he just, pulls over safely and puts on the shield and then jumps out of the car, observing proper safety with civilians. So he gets to drive, and Valeria gets to be the passenger while he's found a way to be useful. Good for him. And I thought that was nice that it's like, oh, okay, so even if he's not going to be using his powers, he can feel a little bit more useful and be less grim and angsty.
Right. Yeah, finally Franklin got a win.
Yeah, which is a cool thing. And then there's a bit at the end with the Puppet Master.
Yeah.
The ventriloquist. Which one is he?
Puppet Master.
Puppet Master. All right, got it the first time.
Yeah. Classic Fantastic Four villain. I'm struggling to think if I've ever read a comic that he was in, personally. But I guess we will soon.
Exactly.
But more interested in seeing the Hulk next issue. That should be fun. I wonder if it'll be the Immortal Hulk.
Yeah, hopefully.
What would you give it?
I like the Immortal Hulk. I'd give it a 7.
Yeah.
It was entertaining.
It was alright. I'm gonna give it a 5 for the Doom stuff, but I wasn't enthralled.
That's fair. Most of the Fantastic Four comics, it's nothing super and amazing lately. It's just been these nice little bits. I don't mind that. I don't mind a single issue, one and done.
I haven't been enjoying those as much as you have. I've liked the big conflict stuff and all the Doom stuff, but the slice of life stuff has been ringing a little hollow to me. Alright, moving on to the 6th issue of Marvel Comics Presents, our other anthology book for the week. This was actually probably one of the better overall issues of Marvel Comics Presents, I thought. The Wolverine story was pretty cool.
Oh yeah, that's true. Getting the X-Men involved in the whole truth business.
And I like that it's just straight up the 1992 X-Men animated series version of the X-Men. Exactly.
Oh, yeah.
Which that's always fun. And right down to having a 2-page spread that you have to hold the comic vertically to look at the 2-page spread. That's such a 90s comics jam, and I love it.
Yeah, well, I'm glad that phased out of comics in general. I don't like having to turn the thing sideways.
The whole thing. And then we get to meet, the foreshadowed daughter of Wolverine, who looks exactly like a Asgardian character at first when she shows up.
Yeah.
But she's also got some bone claws, and we didn't get a name.
Nope.
But first appearance of new Wolverine's daughter character. When she ends up in the movies, this comic's gonna be worth $10. All right. So then we also had this Deadpool story by Tim Seeley and Riley Brown, which starred comic book guy from The Simpsons.
Yep. Wearing a female body inspector shirt.
Right. And it was just a full issue of Deadpool ripping Marvel Comics and the comics industry in general to shreds.
Yeah.
Absolutely. He stops being a hero and starts a 90s era comic book company and hits it big and makes himself a metal suit and makes a million variant covers. And
he's really on about those variant covers and first issues. Everything at his comic book store is a first issue.
Right. It's always a new number one. But I did enjoy the quick cameo appearance by the C to D list characters who you never see anymore. Nightwatch. Death's Head 2, particularly. Nightwatch, man. Remember him from Maximum Carnage?
Yeah, I remember him. He's cool.
That dude never shows up in anything. He looks exactly like Spawn.
Yes, he does.
It was a fun little romp.
Right. He, of course, ended up putting the comic book guy out of business.
Right, with endless variants. Couldn't stay. It's a damning indictment of the business practices of the major comic book industry. I was truly shocked to read it. Like, I was like, wow, they really hit themselves hard here.
Yeah.
And then last, we had a Ghost Rider story, the Danny Ketch Ghost Rider specifically, written by Ed Brisson and drawn by Juan Frigeri. And this was also pretty cool. I like me some Danny Ketch Ghost Rider doing original Ghost Rider things.
Yeah, no, that's an interesting story for sure. It's real doomy.
Like the video game Doom?
What?
Doomy.
Just the feeling, with this. I forget the name of this character who's making everybody mournful.
Yeah, it's Wallow.
Wallow, right?
Yeah,
making everybody wallow.
Yeah, it's it's a very creepy power to make everybody feel super guilty as a superpower.
Yeah.
But anyway, it does a quick little switch around, and we get a cameo appearance on the last page of original Ghost Rider, Johnny Blaze, who, as we know, is King of Hell at the moment. We all know this, right? Yeah.
I didn't know that, but I'm fine with it.
I'm on board, right? I thought it was a pretty good anthology with 3 pretty solid stories that, didn't try to depress you the way that was happening in so many issues of this.
That's true. It is 3 pretty solid stories. It didn't have like a Captain America motorcycle comic or something stupid like that.
Right, to make you feel bad about racism in the 50s or whatever that one was.
Ah, yeah, that one was terrible.
So I give this a 7. I don't want to rate the individual stories. I'm going to rate the whole book.
Yeah, no, the whole book. I'd also give it a 7. Pretty enjoyable.
Pretty enjoyable.
7 is the standard for pretty enjoyable.
Pretty enjoyable. I liked it a lot. Yeah, especially, it was overall a whatever week to me. Maybe we were just spoiled the 2 weeks before being so good.
Yeah, well, not having an Immortal Hulk or a Venom definitely is unfortunate.
Yeah, I think so. All right, well, everybody, thank you so much for listening, and we will be back in the very near future with even more comic reviews.
And you take it easy, y'all.